So edit means update operation and delete operations. Okay. So first of all, let's talk about the update operation. Update operation means editing the details of the existing employee, right? So this update operation, so what we are going to do is we are going to keep one button here. So with the title or text as edit employee. And here to select which employee to edit, so we need to give some radio buttons here. Radio button or checkbox we need to give here, right? So generally we give the radio button because we cannot edit multiple employees at a time using this option. So that will be done as a part of the batch operations, so which is separate. So let us create one button, that is edit employee here, and to select the record, to select which employee to edit, so we'll provide the radio buttons here. So one very important point to remember is, so here on the table there are two actions. One is called selection and another one is called pressing. So whatever the action that we already implemented now means we already done. So that is the press action on the rows. So let us go to the view one. So this is the view one. And if you see the view one, the table, this is column list item. Column list item is what? A row of the table. On the row of the table, we implemented the press action. So most of the people think like this is select action. No. Selection is different from pressing. Selection is different from pressing. So whatever we already implemented, this is called press action. So you are just pressing the row to navigate to the second page to see the details about that particular employee. Okay, that is pressing. But I am talking about selection. Selection means selecting a row. So remember in SAP UI5, whenever you select something, the selected item or the selected row, whatever it is, it will turn into a different color. But now let's say I am pressing this. Is that turning into a different color? No, it is not turning into a different color. I'm just pressing it, that's all. So this is not called as table selection. This is called row pressing. This is called row pressing. Selection means selecting a row. The selected row will appear with a different color than the remaining rows. So let me show you here. So this is a drop down. For example, I am selecting skill, and again I will click this drop down. You can clearly see that skill is appearing in a different color compared to the other four values, other three values. So this is called selection. Always remember, selection will give you a different color compared to the remaining all other rows or other items. So from this, what we need to understand is this particular table, the previously whatever we have done, that is not called as selection, that is called pressing a row. So since it is just a pressing, the pressed row is not appearing with a different color. You can see when I come back, so it is not appearing with a different color. Only the highlighter will be there. So let me show you. See, this is called highlighter. This is not a different color. So you can see, apart from that highlighter, if you see the color inside, the color inside is same. The color inside is same. Then what about this highlighter, the rectangle? So it is just a highlighter. Whenever you click on any button also, it shows that highlighter. Okay. So highlighter indicates you just pressed it. So that is the meaning of the highlighter. But selection is different. Now we are going to enable the selection on the table. So how to enable the selection on the table? In the table tag, there is a property called mode. So for the mode, if I give single select left, it gives the single selection on the table. So with radio buttons. See, and if I select a row by using these radio buttons, and you can clearly see that the selected row appearing with a different color when compared to the all other rows. So this is called selection. Okay. So we have other option for the selection, and that is multi-select. Multi-select. So which gives the check boxes. You can select multiple rows. So this is called check boxes. This comes under the multi-selection. Okay, right. Anyway, I'm switching back to the single selection. So single select left. Yeah, so this is single selection. Now we are going to create a button here that is edit employee. So let's go to the toolbar, and so here let's create a edit employee button. I will copy paste this button, paste it here, and call this as edit employee, and this as edit, type as emphasized, and you can write on edit employee. Now let's have a look at the output window. Okay, so the button is ready. So when I select the record and click on the edit employee, I want to go to a new screen, and in the new screen I want to show the entire details of the PUBG. Just like create employee, I'm going to a new form, but this form is empty. This form is empty. But in case of edit employee, I want to go into a similar kind of view, but there the form should not be empty. The form should be filled with the data. The form should be filled with the data. Okay, right. So first, let's go step by step. When I click on this edit employee, I want to navigate to the fourth view. That is our edit view. Okay. So for that, I'm going to create a new view and its controller. So let's go to the view and a new file, view4.view.xml. So this is the view4, and we also need to create its controller. So let's write view4.controller.js. Right. So since you created new files, so you need to keep the skeleton code inside. Let me go to the view3, copy this and paste it in view4. So remember, whenever you copy paste, change this controller name, and you can give this title as view4, and here you can give the title as employee details. So you can keep this form. The reason being, we need this form at any cost, because we need to display the details of the employee. So you can use this form for yourself. Okay, and here at the bottom you can give the button as update, and on update you can write. Got it, guys? Yeah. So view, I think this is good, and let's go to the controller. So let's open the View 4 controller, and I need the skeleton code. I will copy it from the View 3 controller, Control A, Control C, and put it in the View 4 controller. And anything else? Yeah, so this is something we need to change. This is View 4. So back button you can keep, and this is on submit. So we need to write on update. Okay, so even this function I'm keeping because almost similar kind of logic we need to implement here. So I'm just going to keep this function. Okay, so my view is ready. The View 4 is ready and its controller is ready. So whenever a new view is added, you need to go to the manifest.json, because we should not forget the formula, that is number of web pages equal to number of routes equals to number of targets. So let's copy this, Control C, and this one is View 4. This is fourth view, and you can call this as target View 4. Okay, and come down, Control C, Control V. This is fourth view, and this is also View 4. This is also View 4. That's all, my dear friends. Now we are good to write the logic in our View 1 controller. That is, when I click the button, I want to navigate to the View 4. So where is this View 1 controller? So inside the View 1 controller, let's write where is the View 1 also? So this is not needed. Let's go to the View 1. Okay, right. So this is the button that we have created, Edit Employee. So this one. And when you press this button, you are calling on Edit Employee function. So copy this function into the controller. So probably you can write it here. All right. Now you want to go to the View 4. So you need to write this dot get owner component dot get router dot route View 4. That's all. So let us see if we are navigating to the View 4 or not. Okay, so let me click on Edit Employee, and I am able to navigate to the View 4. Right, now I am going to ask you one question. So all of you listen, let me see who will answer this question. When I click on Edit Employee, anyway, I will select a record and click on Edit Employee. So here I'm able to navigate to the View 4, but the details of this employee are not getting populated in this form. Can anybody tell me what is the approach that you will follow to display the details of the selected employee in this particular form? Anyone? I want the details of this employee here in this form. Can anybody tell me what is the approach we need to follow? Have we done already this kind of thing?
The key we have to pass, right? You have to key.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1%.
The router. In the router, pass the key.
Okay, so in the router, pass the key. Okay, after that.
And
Okay, I will pass the key.
in the initialization, we can write the logic.
I'm asking logic only. What is the logic we need to write?
So one is to retrieve the data from database and pull that record, or you use the JSON format and transfer this particular record.
Okay. Right. So using JSON model is not required here. We can pull the data from back into the front end for that record. Okay, because So this particular record, if you're you can do either way. You can also take it from the JSON as well, but not required. So some other are going to answer something. Yeah, so you can also proceed. Just want to hear your version.
Rizwan, in the router we have to pass the parameter as a key, and we
Okay.
have to follow the key and that read that we follow in the read operation, right? Same thing we
Yeah.
have to follow to get the data of that entity set into the V4, right?
Right. Still, I'm looking for one particular keyword or statement technically. So, what exactly that entire process is called as means, okay, you will get the key and you will transfer the key to the other controller, that is View4 controller. You will get the key. After getting the key, what you will do? Anybody?
The attribute
Have you did
binding.
already? Uh,
Binding attribute.
Binding attribute. So very closer, very much close. So that the concept is having some name. So we did this when
Element,
you
element
select the
binding. Huh?
element binding. Yes. So this is an interview question, guys. Don't forget, it's a element binding. So what is element binding? Binding an element. Element means one record. Okay. So binding an element. Element can be one record, or it is also called as a path. So path means, so what exactly we are binding? We are binding this one, right? So we are binding this one. So this is called, this can be called as a URI convention or path. Okay. So binding this to a particular view or to a particular form or any other UI element basically. So that is called element binding. So same thing we need to follow now. Okay. So we already did this for view1 and view2 controllers. So let me just show you. So when you press the row, so from the pressed row, oEvent.getSource gives us the row that you have pressed. So from that you are getting the binding context. So binding context means the binding that has been done to the row, and you are getting the property employee ID and passing this to the router through the router. And if you go to the manifest.json in the routing, so we have mentioned that the second route is carrying this parameter called key. Okay, right. So that is what we have done in the view1 controller, and in the view2 controller by using this onInit function and on pattern matched combination. So we have written like if you really land up in the view2, then attach the pattern match, means check the pattern, and if the pattern is matching, then hand over that key in this OEvent parameter. So we got this key and we have written this .getView.bind element. Okay, so that this URL will hit to the backend, and whatever the data that we got, so that data will be binded to the view2. Now, if we write the same statement in the view4, the data will be binded to the view4. Okay, so here in the view4, all these input fields, we can do the value bindings so that the data will come and sit. Okay, so same process we need to repeat now. So let's go to the view1 controller. The first thing is we need to get the employee ID from the selected row. So how to get the employee ID from the selected row? So here you need to depend on the table, because the selection belongs to the table, whereas pressing belongs to the row. So emp ID equals to, so I'm going to assign a ID for the table. So it's already there. There is view1 controller. Yeah. So I'm pointing to the table by using this by ID of the table dot. The table has a function called get selected item. So get selected item means get selected row kind of thing. Get selected item. So that's a technical exact function name, but some people generally call this as get selected row. Okay, so both are same. Get selected item is the exact function name you need to use, but this returns the row that you have selected. So once you get the row, we know that every row has a binding context, so gives the data that is binded to the row, and from that I can get the property. So which property I want? I want only employee ID. Now I got the employee ID. I can pass this to the router as a parameter. So I can also, you can give any name, but I'm giving the same name again like this. So key employee ID. Okay. So now go to the manifest.json to register this fact that this particular view4 is also carrying this parameter. Okay, and just use this onInit function, on pattern matched combination in the view4 as well, onInit and on pattern matched. Right. So in the onInit, you need to say get the route information which is view4. So if you really landed up in the view4, then only you call the on pattern matched. So which returns the key to you. So you got the key and do the bind element. Same to same concept. Okay.
I think you have to
Right.
check controller once, this one. You have added it in add employee. Can you check view one controller once?
Controller, view one controller. Okay.
You have added it in add employee function.
Exactly. That's correct. Yeah. So very nice observation. Okay, so I think I need to do it here. So let me just cut and paste to you. Right. I think that's yeah. So we need to do it here, and this one also we need to pass it here. Yeah. So I thought I'm writing in a correct function. Anyway, nice correction. All right. So on add employee, we just need to go to the route view 3. So that is fine, and this is also fine. Now in the view4 controller, we need to use this onInit and on pattern matched combination to get this employee ID and bind that path to the this.getView. So here this.getView means your view4. Since the data is already binded to this particular entire view, so we can display the values by using your value binding. So value equals to, so you can bind your EMP ID here. So it's an input field. So input field is having the value property. So we are doing this binding to the value property. So whereas in view 2, so in view 2, it's a text UI element. So the binding has done to the text property. Okay. So that is the only difference. Now copy this and paste it for every input field. This is name, and this is designation, and this is skill, and this is, what is this? Email, this is salary, and this is status, this is rating, and this is date of joining. Date of joining does not have value property, it is date value property. Okay. All right, so I think we have done all the bindings. Now let us see if this works or not. So let us select an employee, Anil, click on edit employee, and here you go. So you can see all the data. Okay, so go back and check with some other employee, edit employee, and you can see all the data. Somebody has changed this one using formatter, I guess, or otherwise it should not give manager here, but here it is giving manager. How this is possible? So here why this is okay. I think so we have written a formatter for this column, and in the formatter that is not there, I guess. So let me go to the model formatter.js. Where is this? If it is equal to manager, then we are returning only manager. This is wrong. So we need to return manager and round brackets ngr. This is what we need to do. Okay. So now it will show the exact value. All right. Now this is fine. So somebody created this new record, Rahul. I did not created this, and this has to be edited. So here there is no designation, and even the status value is wrong. Somebody has given something like success. This is wrong. Okay, so we can edit these kind of records. Okay, so now coming to the actual part, when I click on the update, I want to send this data, updated data to the backend, and save this record, update this record in the backend. Okay, so the logic goes very similarly, guys. If you understand one operation, that is create operation, it is almost equal. 99% it is same code for update and delete operations as well. Okay, so when you click on this update button in the view 4, on this button we are calling on update function, but this on update function is same as our create operation function. I intentionally did not deleted this code because the code goes in a very similar lines. So we need to read the data from the screen. This is same. We need to construct the payload. This is also same. The only difference come is instead of model.create, you need to write model.update. So when you write model.update with this employee set, this will go and call employee set underscore update underscore entity. And one more difference is, in case of create, you write only /employee set, but in case of update, you also need to pass which record you are editing. So within a single quotes like this, like this. So now this is a hard-coded value. I need to replace this hard-coded value with a variable with a concatenation. So first, I have given you steps whenever you want to do concatenation, dynamic concatenation. So I have given you a shortcut. The shortcut is first place a hard-coded value, and in place of hard-coded value, keep the variable. And after that, keep plus symbol on both sides of the variable, and then double quotation on both sides of plus. So this will make you dynamic concatenation. So that's all model.update. So it will take this payload, and you can write employee updated successfully. Employee updated successfully, and if you want to give the employee ID, so in update operation we don't get anything from the backend. So if it goes into the success, that means so this has successfully updated the record. Okay, it is not a new record, so you will not get anything from the backend. Okay, so if you want to display the employee ID, you can display the employee ID which you have read already from the screen. So employee updated successfully and the employee ID is this. Right, now let us see if this works or not. Can anybody tell me, will this work now?
No, Vibha.
Backend
Won't
code
work,
is
right? Okay, so let me change the rating to 3. So let us debug and see whether this works or not. So what you said is correct. It won't work because the backend functionality we have not written. So let's keep a debug point inside the success and inside the error. Probably can put it here and I can put it here. Right. So click on update now. So you can read all the data. So just check whether all data is coming fine or not. So you can copy this payload variable, go to the console, paste it once, just cross check if all the data that is going to the backend is correct. Yes, it is correct. Okay, and then you can continue the execution. Now this should go into the error. So to see what is this error, you can go to the console. Directly it is printed. So you can see message method employee set underscore update underscore entity not implemented in the data provider class. Okay, so that's the error. So let's go to the backend and complete this, and then we'll come here. Now this is the error. Oops, some error occurred. Please contact the support team. The support team will dig into the technical details and they will just resolve it. Okay. So I'm going to see GW and let's go to this batch 72 employee runtime artifacts, so DPC extension class. So even the logic that we write in the backend will also go in a similar lines, guys. You can copy your create employee code and you can just edit for your update employee. So this is what we have written yesterday. So this is what exactly I have written yesterday. So I'm just copying it and let's go to update employee entity. This is employee set underscore update underscore entity. Let's go to the edit mode and select your method employee set underscore update underscore entity and redefine it. Just keeping it here. So you need to read the data that is coming from the front end. So this is updated data. The only difference you need to, so the only change you need to do is instead of insert, you just need to say modify. So modify your table Z batch 72 employees from ls underscore data. So that's all. You can activate this. All right, so this is done. Now I'm going to click on the update again. So you can see that Rahul, so let me give a capital Rahul, and this is designation as developer. Okay, so skill as Java. And so all these things I have changed. So before I click on the update button, I will show you the data of this Rahul. So all of you observe Rahul's data here. So Rahul's data is saying employee ID is this, name Rahul, designation software, skill. So you can see all this data. Now all this data will change. I'm going to click on the update button. The debug point has triggered. I don't want the debug point now. Now this time it went into the success function and it is saying employee updated successfully. So let's continue the execution. So it is saying employee updated successfully. Now if you go back, so you can see automatically the data is getting refreshed. So this is the advantage of OData model binding. But if you bind this table with a JSON model, then you need to hit to the backend again to pull the latest data and save that in the JSON model again. So you need to do this. But if you bind the table with the OData model automatically refresh your records. You no need to do that. So now Rahul developer Java. So all this data has been updated. So you can refresh here to see Rahul's data from the OData service also. So it has changed. Okay, right. Now let us see our last operation, that is delete employee operation. So I'm going to keep it here. So this also goes in a very similar lines of code. So we need to write this code only in the view1 controller. So let's go to the view1 and view1 controller. So I am in view1. Let me copy this button, paste it here. Let's say delete employee, and this is the delete icon, and I want this in red color, so type equal to reject, and this is on delete employee. Okay, now copy this function into the controller, that is view1 controller, and here you can write on delete employee. So to delete the employee also, we need the employee ID. We need only employee ID to delete an employee. Remember, we don't need that payload and all. Okay. So how to get the employee ID? It is same as how you got the employee ID in case of edit. So copy that and paste it here. Now you got the employee ID. Okay. Right. So after getting the employee ID, how to trigger the delete call to the backend. Okay, let us see. So this will go exactly like update logic, guys. So I'm copying this part only. To trigger create call or update call or delete call, we need OData model object. Okay, so that's why I'm taking this code only. So go to your view1 controller and paste this code here. I got this OData model object. Now OData model object has a delete function. This is what people will think, because create operation means model.create, update operation means model.update. So delete operation means 99% people will write model.delete, but the method was model.remove. Okay, I will give you one scenario, one situation that happened in our company. On the flow, the person has written model.delete. Actually, model.delete function is also there, but model.delete will not trigger employee set underscore delete underscore entity. It won't trigger employee set underscore delete underscore entity, but instead it will delete this OData model that is created in the manifest.json. So as a result, since OData model got deleted, your create operation, update operation will also won't work. So since I am from Center of Excellence team, so we normally not only work for our project, but also we take care of other projects which are in trouble, which are in escalations and all. So from one project, this issue has came to me. Normally issues go to the Center of Excellence team, and Center of Excellence team will distribute those issues to the different members of COE. So this issue has came to me, like none of the CRUD operations are working, even though they have written the correct code. When I heard the issue itself, I understand like, okay, this fellow might have written OData model.delete, because they said none of the operation is working. So previously all the operations used to work, and suddenly none of the operation is working. So I understand immediately that this fellow might have written OData model.delete, for triggering the delete entity method, but actual method name is remove. Okay, now you will never ever forget about this method name. It is OData model.remove. Okay, I just went to the project, I straight away searched for OData model.delete. I find that statement and replace that with remove, and I asked them to execute. Now then it was working fine. Okay, and they almost laughed for 10 minutes. Okay, for that silly, very silly mistake. Okay, so most of the people on the flow, they write model.delete, but yes, model.delete is also there, but it is for deleting your OData model. Okay, not for triggering the backend call. Right, so OData model.remove, so this will call employee set underscore delete underscore entity. No payload required for this, so payload is not required. And you are passing this employee ID within the round brackets, right? So this will be captured. This will be captured into the method into a parameter called IT key tab. So from the IT key tab, you can get the employee ID. And for deleting an employee, we just need that employee ID. So you can write delete from the table where employee ID is this. That's all. So employee deleted successfully, and you can give that employee ID, whatever that is, that's got deleted. Okay. All right. Now I just want to test it. So that's the code, guys, nothing else. So delete employee button is there. Select the employee. I'm selecting Rahul and click on the delete employee. We have not kept any debug points. So let us keep one debug point here. Click on the button. The execution has stopped. Employee ID has come. Keep a debug point in success. Keep a debug point in the error. Continue. So this has went into the error. And in the console, you can see method employee set underscore delete entity not implemented in the data provider class. So go and implement it. Continue the execution. Right, now I am going here. So before I write the logic, I will go to get entity. The reason I went into the get entity is we already written how to retrieve the employee ID from IT key tab, right? So I need this code, so which we already written. So go back and come to employee set underscore delete entity and redefine this. So here ls key tab. So I already mentioned that. So whatever the primary key that you are sending here within the round brackets, so this primary key will be captured automatically by the OData framework and store that in IT key tab. So from this IT key tab, I am retrieving into ls key tab. So you can see read table IT key tab into the ls key tab with key name equal to employee ID. So if my ls key tab is not initial, then what I'm going to do, delete from the table where employee ID is this. That's all. Activate this. Continue. Now I'm going to delete this. So click on delete. Now continue the execution. It should go into the success. So it has gone into the success. Continue the execution. And now you can see employee deleted successfully. Click OK. And here you can see that the employee has gone, but the blank row is appearing. There is no employee details here, but so this blank row is coming. So how to remove this blank row? You just need to write one statement here inside the success function. and that is your OData model dot refresh, and inside you need to write true. OData model dot refresh true. So this table is binded to the OData model. Record is got deleted, but the empty row was showing. So to remove that also, you need to write just refresh your OData model. That's all. So OData model dot refresh true. Now let's see. So I don't want to delete any of the employee. So let me create an employee and then delete it. So I'm just creating a dummy employee. I don't want any debug points anymore. Just create it, go back. Is this? One second. Sometimes the browser will be a little slow. It is created, so it should show here. Yeah. Now I am going to delete this dummy record. Select it, delete employee. Now you can see it not only deleted the content, but also it has deleted the row. The row also gone. Okay, so that's it. So this is how you need to perform your CRUD operations. So we have successfully completed our create, update, delete operations.